Isn't it crazy how many rules, and I'm doing air quotes when I say rules, there are about how to be healthy? Oh my goodness. I can open any social media, turn on the TV, open the magazine, whatever, and there's somebody telling me, and I know you've had this experience, of course, how to be healthier, how exactly to exercise, how I'm supposed to eat, what I'm not supposed to eat. And all these things are so that we can live longer and be healthier. And that's great that there's all that advice out there. And I guess the opposite of that wouldn't be good, would it? We don't want to have no idea what to do. But it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming for me, which tells me it's probably overwhelming for you. So let's see if we can simplify. Welcome to Mind Your Midlife, your go-to resource for confidence and success, one thought at a time. Unlike most advice out there, we believe that simply telling you to believe in yourself or change your habits isn't enough to wake up excited about life or feel truly confident in your body. Each week, you'll gain actionable strategies and, oh my goodness, powerful insights to stop feeling stuck and start loving your midlife. This is the Mind Your Midlife podcast. When I hit midlife, and the way I'm defining that is grown-up kids who are out of the house at least kind of part of the time, college and beyond, as well as into the mid 40s, 50s, maybe even early 60s. Obviously, your timeline might be a little different than mine. But when I hit midlife, I realized that I want to be healthy. I want to exercise and feel good about my body and eat well so that I feel good. And I at this point, I know what things I should eat if I want to have energy that day and what things will make me sleepy. And, we've learned these things about ourselves so far, right? But I'm also at the point, that was a long intro to what I wanted to say, where I want quality of life to be factored in. And I had a conversation with my friend just 2 days ago where she was saying, I know that I could lose a bunch of weight if I was just so strict with what I was eating and I didn't let myself ever have, anything out of the ordinary. And I exercised an hour a day and I just ramped everything up. But she was saying, I don't want to live like that. It's too hard. And I think sometimes then we extrapolate from that and we say, well, living healthy in general is too hard. So I don't want to do it. Or if you're not heading down the forget it, it's too hard pathway, maybe you're heading down the, well, somebody just tell me the best thing to do. Keep it simple. Just tell me what to do. I want to feel good. Sure, I want to live long. I want this period to be the middle and have all that time ahead of me, but just somebody tell me what to do. So I fall into these traps all the time. I bet you do too. So my guest today is such a cool person. So Lynne Bowman is, as she says, in her 80th year. She's going to tell us that. She is 79. She is living proof that you can cook, eat, sleep, laugh, and walk your way out of type 2 diabetes. And that is her wording. She has a best-selling book called Brownies for Breakfast, a cookbook for diabetics and the people who love them. And she is just a cool grandma, mother, businesswoman. And so I am super excited because we're going to try to make this simple. And she is going to, I think, speak about eating and longevity and health, maybe with a little bit different angle than you have heard recently. So welcome, Lynne.
I am so happy that everything's working and we're here. Let's do this.
I know. Technology is amazing.
It's amazing.
So let's just start with this. How did you end up with such a focus on longevity and eating healthy for longevity?
It was totally an accident. It happened to me. I didn't happen to it. But I think it goes back, Cheryl, to way back when. And the more we read about this and study this, the more we realize that we kind of come out of the chute and arrive on earth with a program, whether we like it or not. If you're a parent, I think you've seen it in your kids. No matter what you'd like to project on them, no matter what you think, they get here with something they want to do or something they need to do. And it's not always what you think. But in my case, my mom died when I was very young. I was 18.
Mm.
And she had been ill most of my life. She had chronic kidney disease. And in fact, and this is an interesting thing that's come up lately. In fact, she was advised not to have me. She was advised to get an abortion because of her health. And
Wow.
I've just now been hearing from a couple of different sources. There is a theory, I guess, I don't know how well proven it is, but among Native American peoples, apparently, there's this idea that when a mother's life is threatened for some reason or another, the child that's born, the female child that's born, is a warrior.
Huh.
And there is science behind there being some kind of a thing that happens chemically to women who are stressed in a certain way during their pregnancy that removes fear in their children. And that sounds creepy, right? But I've asked the question. My youngest, particularly my youngest, is a daughter, and she was one of those babies that I could not take my eyes off her for 1 minute because she was afraid of nothing. She went straight out in the pasture after the cattle. She went straight up the hill after the cat. This kid, as soon as she could walk, was gone. And this is the 5 diamond, black diamond, snowboarding, going to Costa Rica, diving under it, and so on. And you have to go, okay, maybe there is something, maybe there is a thing that happens to us.
Interesting.
Chemical, maybe it's spiritual, maybe it's both, who knows, the mix. But so I grew up with a mother who was impaired with this, and she died when I was 18. So I came into adulthood understanding a little bit more than a lot of people do about, one, how temporary life is, two, you're on your own and you better figure it out, whatever it is. So when my children were born, I was told my son was about 10 pounds. And I was told, and we were talking earlier about the medical teams that we were
Mm.
dealing with in those days. And this is in the South. And it's like, well, Ms. Bowman, your kid's 10 pounds. You got gestational diabetes. I do. Well, they hadn't thought to test me, or in those days, it was not a thing that you
Wow.
were concerned about, right? So they did say, you're going to have to watch your weight, and and when you're in your 40s, you will probably have type 2 diabetes. So, and I also, at the same time, had one of the worst marriages ever. Another story, a vet who had come back from Vietnam, Marine. And so part of trying to stay alive was that I had to leave North Carolina with my 2-year-old, 3-year-old, and 4-year-old and come to California to survive. But all of this, it's your life becomes about staying on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
And some of us to a greater degree than others, but all of us are doing this, whether we're doing it consciously or not. And in my case, it was conscious. I was not going to leave my kids. And so I just started doing everything that I could do to be as healthy as I could be. I didn't have the money to be sick either, and I didn't have the support to be sick. So my defense was take care of yourself. And I did my best, and I educated myself about it. And also when you're a single mom, and you're making way, however you can do it, cooking and eating, of course, is a big part of what you're doing. And so I developed some skills in the kitchen to make it fast, cheap, and healthy.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
And, it just turned into this longevity thing because people were always asking me, first of all, in this book that I most recently did, people wanted to know how I did it. Because it was like a superpower. To me, it was quite ordinary. Is you're just slinging hash, you're putting it on the table. But in my case, it had to be healthy. It had to be something that was not going to make me sick and make my kids sick.
Yeah.
But again, it was about me staying alive so I could keep them alive. So it just sort of developed over the years. And then now what's happening? First of all, when I was talking sugar-free, even 5 years ago, nobody wanted to hear it. Like, oh, no, no, thank you. Mm.
We were in the fat-free kick back then.
Yeah, well, and just there was something about sugar-free. First of all, it says deprivation. Nobody wants to be deprived of yummy, delicious, sweet food. And also, I think people had got kind of a bad idea about sugar substitutes with good reason, because there were some lousy ones. They made your tummy hurt, and they weren't, they gave people cancer or whatever.
You know what? I there's a meme out there that I remember seeing that's something like, the processed food is cheaper now and the healthy food is expensive, but not as expensive as being sick for 20 years is, or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, and we are all noticing how you buy a sandwich out anywhere and it's $15, $20 with tax, 25 with tip. Food has gone up, and not necessarily great food either.
Mhm. So one of the keys then is cutting the sugar. Are there any other major keys to the way we eat and how it affects longevity?
Yes, the most important one is who you eat with.
All right. Tell me more about that.
Well, food, first of all, is not just fuel, it's connection, it's a sacrament, it's community, it's all these other things that are human. And we seem to think that eating something out of a bag in the back of a car or behind a steering wheel is food. It's not. Humans are meant to share food. And when we take food in, we're not just throwing stuff down. Well, we are throwing it down our gullet, but what we're made to do is look at it, see what it is, smell it, see how it smells, feel it, taste it, because those are the things that tell us it's okay. And those are the things that allow our body to go, oh, she's going to throw something down. You ready? You've got this whole system about eating. It's not just throwing it down your throat and that hopefully it will land in your liver and, go on out the other end. I mean, it's a whole system that needs to receive your food. And people, I think, just don't even think about that. It's also connected, deeply connected to how you sleep and if you sleep. And in middle age, women are constantly, I love you, darling, but I know what you're doing. You're whining about not sleeping at night. All of you.
Midlife is not a crisis. It's your pivot point. And if support, coaching, and inspiration to actually enjoy this season of life sounds good, you need to be in the Midlife Pivot Patreon community. You'll get live group coaching on Zoom each month, behind-the-scenes podcast extras, and mindset tools that actually fit your life. We're launching on June 1st, and it's totally free for the whole summer. Get on the waitlist now and find the details at cherylpfisher.com/midlife pivot so you don't miss a thing. If you're listening, I wonder, is she telling the truth? Yeah, we talk about sleep a lot.
I know you ate pizza in front of Jimmy Kimmel last night. I saw you. And then there was a little bit of ice cream, wasn't there? So the problem is not, the pizza, yeah, I'll tell you, I can tell you how to make the best pizza ever, and it's fabulous food, and you can eat it, but you can't order pizza and eat it and have it be good food. I'm sorry, you have to make it. So there's that. And of course, the ice cream we've already talked about, but the Jimmy Kimmel part, and Jimmy, love you, honey, but you must go to bed at a decent hour, and you must quit eating 3 to 4 hours. Have your last bite 3 to 4 hours before you sleep.
Yeah.
And you've probably heard this already, and you're going, yeah, yada, yada, yada. But it does make a huge difference in how your food is processed and how your whole body is allowed to do what it needs to do. Have you talked about autophagy on your podcast?
No, I have not.
Good, because it's going to be our word of the day.
Excellent. Word of the day.
Hey, I love that. So I'm going to be Miss Yvonne for a minute. Autophagy, it's autophagy, self eating. Sounds pretty grody, but what it is your cells want to recycle each other, clean out the bad ones, and strengthen the good ones. They are genius, the little devils in there. They know how to do this, but you have to leave them alone to do the work. You cannot continue to shovel food in because they can only work after something like 14 to 16 hours foodless has gone by in your body. Which, of course, you're thinking, okay, wait, if I have pizza at 11 o'clock at night, that's right. You can't. You have to stop eating. The earlier, the better. Old, crusty people like me can stop at 4 or 5 in the afternoon, which I do. I often eat my last meal at 2 in the afternoon. It's fine because I'm accustomed to it and I know how important it is. And plus, I'm a recreational sleeper, Cheryl. Do you know what I'm saying by that?
You enjoy it.
I love to sleep. And, it's all about the pillow. I actually iron my pillowcases. I know that's how sick I am. But I mean, I want my bed lovely and I want the room light just so, and I want it quiet and so on. And it's a whole ritual. And I would wish for anyone that you enjoy that as much as I do, or maybe more, because you got to do it every day. Why not make it fun? Why not think of it as a lovely thing to do, not a capitulation, because you're tired.
That's a great point because we do, I'm speaking for my age group overall, we do complain about sleeping a lot. We talk about it a lot. You're totally right about that. And maybe because we're having hot flashes and having interrupted sleep, and that's something we hadn't dealt with before. But I don't think I've ever had a conversation with somebody related to sleep where we talked about really trying to make it a whole experience that was wonderful and enjoyable. And it's the intention, right? And maybe it's the same thing with eating. It's the intention.
Absolutely. And with sleeping, you can't talk about that without talking about dreaming. And there's so much wonderful stuff out there to read about how important dreams are, what the spiritual elements of dreaming are, what Native American or Central American dream, there's a get into it, enjoy it. It's an aspect of your life. You don't just go dead for 6 hours or 8 hours. You're alive and things are happening. So groove on it a little bit, and hope maybe the next morning you remember some of it, which is hard for me. I don't. I mean, I sleep deeply and long, and wake up the next morning going, "Huh?"
Well,
Happened.
I can remember my dreams sometimes, but they're usually so strange that, who knows?
Oh, strange is good. It's good. You just need to think about, well, why, was that strange? And who was that character and so on. So that just food isn't just food. Sleep isn't just sleep. It's ritual. It's life. And your basic question was, what is it about that's most important longevity wise about food? And it is who you eat with. If you're not eating with people you want to eat with now, fix that, honey, right now. It's time to fix it. And I'm not going to name names. You know who you are out there. You've been eating with them for how long and hating it and complaining about it? Fix it. I know people, and I'm not going to mention names here, who recently bought the home next to their home so they could live separately, but next door to their husband.
Wow.
She's very happy. There are things you can do to make your life just exactly what you want. And some of them involve money and some of them don't. Some of them just involve courage. So, longevity, I mean, all of the studies will tell you that the people who live the longest are the happiest people, the people who are best connected, whether it's with friends or community or family, but who have deep connections that make them happy. That's what makes you live long.
Yes, I agree fully. And you're right. There have been plenty of studies about this. And actually, I'm going to put in the show notes, if you're listening now, a link to an episode I did about how we sometimes end up isolating ourselves in midlife, because that is part of this problem that we're talking about. And it's really important that we figure a way out of that. Yes, community is a big deal. And it's been so odd in the past 5 years because of the pandemic and everything. So there's so many variables there. Yeah.
Yeah. And right in my book, I said, and I'll say it again, if you're eating alone, put down your fork, go down the hall, knock on a door. Mrs. Johnson, want to come have some soup? Larry, are you hungry? I mean, you got to reach out. And sometimes you think, well, I don't really want to. And just, you know what? Shut up. Just do it. Just do it. It doesn't matter if your house is a little bit upside down. People love to be invited. And I will never forget the first time, I think I was in college, still very young, and a friend invited a couple of us over to her house, her apartment. She was a couple years older, to have a meal. And we got there and the table was all set and there were candles on it and napkins. And I thought, she really wanted us to be here. She was
Oh.
expecting us. And because, I had come to maturity without my mom doing a lot of these things. And I was just swept away with how loved it made me feel to have someone expect me and set a table for me and then share a meal with me. Now, did I care? And do I even remember what the food was? No, didn't matter, but to feel that embrace
Mhm.
is life-giving for people. Literally, it's life-giving, which brings up the question of hospital food. How in
Oh.
the, how in the world can hospitals get away with feeding people what they do? Oh my God.
It's not life-giving, yeah.
No. Mm-mm.
So that brings us back to food, which is perfect because as soon as we start talking in any conversation about eating healthy, I think people have some amount of stress that kind of, ugh, like everybody's telling me how to eat healthy. Everybody's giving me a rule, and I got to cook for an hour every day if I want it to be healthy. And it's very complicated. I don't know who to listen to. And I can see your face as I'm saying this. And so you've simplified it. So tell us more about that.
First of all, I'm an impatient, messy cook. I don't measure very well. I don't write anything down. I don't journal. I don't count calories. I don't count macros. None of that. I just cook. And my beliefs are kind of simple. One, eat what you have. Open up your fridge and pull the stuff out and figure out how to make a meal out of it. It's usually pretty easy. It's almost always soup out in the book. And there are a couple basic things that you do to start a pot of soup. And then you take that kale that you meant well when you bought it, and then you didn't know, and you take the spinach out and you take the celery, all the stuff comes out. Plus, I made a meal yesterday and I thought, I'm going to talk about this with people because there's a way to make a bowl of I don't know, what am I going to call? I need to come up with a great name for it, but it's everything in it pasta is what it is. It's you've got some meat and you have some vegetables and you have some cheese. It's whatever you had in the fridge, but with a couple of little tweaks, it turns out to be this gorgeous casserole that you've made with, and here's my new tweak, pasta made with chickpeas. Are you eating chickpea pasta yet? Okay. High protein, very, very wonderful food profile. It's of course strictly, it's no meat. It's vegan, vegetarian, and high fiber. Great food. But what's even greater about it is don't make it the way it says to make it on the package. You've got a big sloppy skillet full of meat and vegetables, and you pour some broth in it or some water in it. And so you've made this juice with all your good tasting stuff. And then you just dump that pasta in there uncooked and let it soak up the flavor of all that other stuff. And it cooks beautifully. Just give it 8 or 9 minutes with a low heat under it so that it can soak it all up. And now you've got a gorgeous, great big skillet full of, and I'm using meat usually, but you don't need meat. Whatever you're going to make your gooey mess out of. And I'll make, it was Trader Joe's tomato and feta soup. I had about a half a thing left of it. And of course, the broth. I had some hamburger that I just sauteed in the bottom. I had half a red pepper, onions, chop them up, throw them in there, saute them, I'm forgetting a lot of it. I don't know, but you get the drift.
Yes.
Trust me, it's fabulous.
Okay, so that has just changed the way my husband and I are going to eat dinner. Let me just tell you. I love it. And I have eaten various types of gluten-free pasta for a long time. Maybe it's made from brown rice, maybe chickpeas, maybe whatever else. But it never occurred to me to try to create a situation where I could just throw it in and let it cook with whatever I was using it with. And I can see how that would make it amazing.
Pot, no draining, no nothing. I mean, hello, so that's how I cook in 15 minutes, one pot. I'm talking the whole time and waving my arms and giving orders. And it should be fun. It should be communal. Everybody's watching TV about cooking shows on TV with some angry chef in a, tight t-shirt and giving, no, no. I have recipes in my book, Cheryl, that are two ingredients, and I can give you one right now. You're gonna love this
Yes,
one.
please.
Buy the best balsamic vinegar you can find, and I've got two local ones that I love. It's a Gravenstein apple one, and then an apricot one from a market close by, Sigona's Market, that have a really good, little bit sweet balsamic vinegar. And then tahini, a jar of tahini. All it is ground up sesame seeds. So really good food, very good for you. The bottom of the salad bowl, you put some tahini in there, you put some of the balsamic in there, you mix it up. There's your dressing. You're done. And then whatever greens you have, whatever you're going to make your salad from, and then just toss them. So you have not made a separate bowl. You haven't ground anything up. You have tossed two things in the bottom of your salad bowl. And trust me, it's as good as any dressing you've ever had in your life. So good. If it's a good balsamic and good tahini,
Wow.
boom.
I love it. I'm going to try that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I love to eat salad and there are some dressings I really love. And I've always said, I'm not going to get rid of everything. I know they're not ideal for me, but I'm just going to eat them anyway. I can try this.
If you buy them in a jar, they're probably not good for you. I mean, that's the thing. And a lot of us fall down when it comes to salad dressing. Because if you really read the label,
Mhm.
they've all got sugar. They've all got oils that you really don't want to eat. I mean, they're full of crap. So why not just make your own in 2 seconds and have it way back and have your guests go, oh my goodness, what is this? It's so say, oh, well, it's something, I threw
I
it
whipped
together.
up.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And that was actually my question for you is what are some of your favorite easy recipes? So there we go.
I just gave it away, right? But the thing is, you do not only are you not going to be deprived, you are going to be eating better than you've ever eaten. Because guess why? When you get rid of all the stupid white stuff, the ground up stuff, and you're left with, okay, now what am I? It opens up this whole wonderful world of colorful, healthful, delicious, wonderful smelling stuff that you didn't even think about eating before because you were so busy with that stupid croissant that you get every morning.
And you know what? I want to add something here because I like what you just said for a particular reason. It's also about how we're thinking about this and kind of our mindset about it.
Absolutely. I mean, if you want to be deprived, you're going to find a way to feel deprived. But I don't want to be deprived of my last 20 years, you know?
Love it.
And here's another thing about midlife. It gets so much better after 50. And I'm not the only person who feels this way. I mean, I got girlfriends, many of whom are in their 90s. And I won't say many, but I have a few, and they're cool. They're artists. But the point is, that we are sort of taught that when our menstrual cycles end, so does our life.
Mm.
No, no, not even close. I don't know who made up that, but it's wrong. When you get that stuff behind you and your kids sort of pretty well launched, and in my case, I was 50 when I moved to where I am now, in which we bought this money pit, broken down old farm on the coast of California, just fell madly in love with this, the light, the trees, the ocean, all of it. Feels so grounded and happy. It's a magical place. But 50, I think of that in my life as that was when everything kind of started to really go my way. I could make choices. I could be where I wanted to be. up until then, it had been so much about the kids, the career, the husband, everything. And I really do think that, I mean, we're stronger in many ways.
Absolutely.
Our we certainly are more experienced, and the brain power is there, not impaired by a lot of what has to happen earlier in your life. Life is so interesting in so many ways, and it just gets more interesting. And to be this age is weird. And I mean, and I'll repeat it. I have had my 79th birthday, so I'm saying to myself, girl, this is your 80th year. What? You know, I'm doing strength training. I'm working out 4 days a week with an adorable trainer who's really wonderful, and with my girlfriends. So I have that's my social life is in this little gym in town. But I never had the freedom, the ability to do that in the past. 4 days a week, I get to do that. 4 mornings, yay! And by the way, girls, that's how you keep your bones strong.
Yes. Yes.
It's not with pharmaceuticals. It's at the gym doing strength training. And I am now deadlifting 50, 60, 70 pounds, depending on the day. I think my limit was, I did 95 one day. And you can too. And then it was explained to me that all of the noise about when you fall, you're going to break a bone, and you don't want to have brittle bones because falling and so on. What prevents falls is having muscles. If you have muscles, you're not going to bust a brittle bone.
Yep.
So the combination is very important. Also, hormones. Yes, let's talk about it. I am doing a regime and have been for a couple of years of topically applied bioidentical estradiol and progesterone.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely believe in the power of that for sure. Mhm.
Not recommending it, not a doctor, okay? And we have to do all those disclaimers.
Yep. Absolutely. See your doctor.
Yeah, and I'm doing it under the care of Dr. Selma Rashid, who's wonderful. But I think it's a gift. I think it's a wonderful thing. Also, in part because we have females doing the prescribing now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big change for sure. Okay. Wow. So we've gone in all different directions, but they have all fit together, and that's amazing. Where can people find your book? What's the name of your book? What would they be getting? And where could they find you?
Okay, so just be sure you spell my name right because it's Lynnebowman. My middle name and my author name is Lynne Bowman, but that's kind of hard. It's Parmiter. But if you search Lynne Bowman, I'm usually the first Lynne Bowman who will pop up. The book is Brownies for Breakfast. Oh, yes. A cookbook for diabetics and the people who love them. That's why I wrote it. But then I realized that that's everybody.
Well, fair.
Everybody, pretty much, we've got a diabetic somewhere that we love. And also, it's the same exact recommendation for people with heart disease or who don't want heart disease, people who want to protect their liver, whatever. It's just granny, sensible. Here's how to eat. And there's no biochemistry in it. It's just all simple. Here's what you do.
Love it.
And then, of course, I do tell some stories, but I love pretty food.
Yes.
I love pretty food. And the point is, I want you to know that you can make stuff that's going to look exactly like this.
Oh boy, isn't that a big deal with a cookbook? Yeah.
So the brownies are made from canned pumpkin, yes, nut butter, you can use any kind you want, cocoa, which is a health food. Chocolate is a health food if you don't
Yes.
put sugar in it. And some other things, some cinnamon and some baking soda and some stuff, not much. And you can use eggs or egg substitute. So everything in the book you can do vegan, vegetarian, or put meat in it. Boom.
Amazing. Amazing. And when we talked before we recorded this, you told me about the pumpkin, and I've been fascinated about it ever since. So I will be trying some of the recipes for sure.
Good, good. And then I always want you to send me pictures and give me feedback. It's like, well, it looked like it was burning around the edge, and so I reduced the heat. Yes, good idea. They're very, very simple, but if you're not cooking at all, You may be a little hesitant about just baking anything, but there's pumpkin bars in there. There's orange snack cake where you take a whole orange and put it in the blender. What fun is that? Oh yeah.
Huh. And if you're listening, tell us on social media or wherever if you try some of these recipes as well. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Okay, and the contact stuff. Okay, I'm on Substack, Lynne Bowman dot Substack, or is it, yeah, dot Substack.com. And that's kind of new, but I'm having fun with it, and I love hearing from people. But yeah, you'll find me if you search for me, and I hope you do. And then my website, has everything on it. It's just lynnebowman.com.
Absolutely. Okay, then let's wrap up with I always like to talk about the OMG moment, like the thing that we have to remember that's so important from this whole conversation. What do you think is really the thing that people need to keep in mind?
Eat joyfully.
Nice. I love it. Eat joyfully. It's not just about the food, it's not just about the time, it's about all of it.
All of it. The company,
Yeah.
yeah, the intention, all of it.
Perfect way to wrap up. Well, Lynne, thank you so much for joining me today.
Carol, this has been big, big fun.
Wow. For me, that OMG moment was perfect. And it kind of pulled together everything I was hearing in this conversation about intention. Yes, what she said is less sugar, community eating, community in life, sleep and let it be good sleep, let it be fun, something you look forward to. It was all based in changing our attitude and our intention behind what we're doing. And I love that. It's the mindset that underscores this entire thing. And so, midlife, it's the middle. We have a long and amazing and fun way to go. And I hope you heard that today. Now, make sure you've hit the follow button, because next week on the podcast, we're going to stay in this healthy theme for another week, and we're going to talk about walking. And I'm not just going to say to you, you should walk. I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to tell you how. And so stick with me. I'll see you then. Oh my goodness. Let's keep creating confidence and success, one thought at a time.